Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of Growth Secrets, the podcast where we deep dive into strategies and insights powering today's fastest growing companies. I'm Yannick Kayati, and in each episode, I'll expose the unique growth and marketing secrets that let these businesses thrive. Today, I'm speaking to Nicolas Christiaen, the co founder and co CEO of Dona. And for those of you who haven't heard about Dona yet, it's an AI powered sales assistant designed to simplify sales administration for field sales reps. What's in a name? All these AI tools lately, and Donna has been getting a lot of buzz over the past months. So Nicolas, I'm really excited to have you here. Can you tell the people watching or listening something about yourself and about Donna?
Sure, Yannick. Yeah, first of all, thank you for inviting me today. Myself, 38 years old, living here in the beautiful city of Merelbeke down in Belgium. Two little kids, two little daughters, and always working on different ventures. In my previous life, actually before Donna, I had a first venture that was called Cash. And we basically built an international cash and treasury management systems for really large enterprises, large corporates like Unilever, Kimberly-Clark, Daimler, Pearson, and others. And the fun thing was that during my time at Cashforce, I got confronted with all the big sales teams at these large enterprises. And what struck me was that so many of these have sales teams that are really traveling a lot, that are on the road, that go from one meeting to the other, where sometimes you would think that everyone is sitting behind a laptop and a computer to do the sales. But with them, it was really field sales teams. And it got me thinking. Now, I'll tell you a little bit later, let's say, how we got then eventually to Donna, but sort of what is Donna? Donna is the best sales assistant for field sales reps. And you kind of can imagine now a field sales rep that typically goes from door to door, visiting pharmacies, department stores, dental offices. They're on the road every day, spending hours also in the car. Well, and it's that time in the car that we want to optimize. We want to transform that idle time to productive time. And how do we do that? They can actually simply call Donna from the car and talk with their own voice to Donna to complete their CRM. So in between visits, they get briefed on the next meeting and they can then also update their CRM. So when they arrive home, as a result, they don't need to work anymore or very little in their CRM, which is obviously a major gain. And that using pure hands-free, let's say, talking mode in the car with Donna.
Yeah, because I know these legendary stories from CEOs that print out their emails, etc., and they have someone writing the answers. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, you solve that for sales reps, right? That's what you do.
Exactly. The fun part is that just like the CEOs in your story, the sales reps typically take about, what is it, 5, 7 visits. So if they go from one store to the other, yeah, it's almost hard to remember the third store when you're at the fifth, thinking what happened there, what should I write down? Or when you're visiting the seventh, like, who am I actually still visiting? And then to keep track as well as to be prepared, someone at your side, like an actual assistant, is of great help.
Is it industry agnostic, or do you see like certain industries where they use you much more than in the other ones?
Yeah. Well, we started off from, let's say, an industry agnostic point of view because we believe that field sales are in several industries. But I think very quickly we found out through inbound traffic that came to us after our launch that we had several industries that were actually having more and broader field sales teams than others. The first one was, for example, an FMCG. Lots of them that are distributing foods to restaurants, hotels, bars. Could be drinks, alcohol, beer, also non-alcoholic drinks, food service. Think about, let's say, delivering larger packages of food to, let's say, the ones that own these, I would say, large, how to say, when you organize weddings,
Yeah,
and the ones
yeah,
that
the catering businesses.
caterers. Exactly. So that's FMCG. Then when you move further, real estate. In real estate, you have to do a lot of sightings, show people houses, but also show people commercial real estate. So in that kind of atmosphere, same thing happens. You're going from one meeting to the other. And then we are all the way back to sort of manufacturing, industrial manufacturing of physical goods when you're having, let's say, ventilation systems. So anything HVAC, roofings, insulation panels, everything that basically belongs in real estate. So everything that belongs within a construction business, it has to be assembled to be constructed. And there you also have to provide a lot of samples. A lot of cases, people travel to take these samples, people travel to explain what they have. And in
And
that sector, yeah.
because now I think the AI wave came in like at a pretty right timing for you guys, I guess. But did you start Donna as an AI native startup, or did you add the AI later?
So we really started as an AI native startup. And for us, that's also a big differentiator. Basically, everything that we do or build and that Donna does is AI. It's for us, we also think that in recent times, if you would build a startup doing it non-AI native, it would be pretty hard to survive. So absolutely, I think all of the people that started this business are also sort of engineers that have wider backgrounds beyond AI, but have then specialized in AI to actually start with the business.
Cool. And can you tell us a little bit more about how you came up with the idea of Donna?
Yeah. So I think a bit of a fun story, perhaps from the previous business. When I was running Cashforce, I had a gentleman with me, always on the road, always selling software together with me. And I didn't notice at first, but after every meeting, he was basically calling someone to brief about what happened during the meeting and sort of to also set apart the next steps, to write follow-up emails. And at first, I didn't really notice it, but what I really was, I was in a cab in New York City, and I wanted to talk to him, but he was still on the phone with that person, and I was a bit, I would say, yeah, pissed off because I was like, hey, I want to talk to you, and you're still on the phone, so can we have a short conversation? And I said like, hey, but who are you actually calling? And he said like, I'm calling Donna. But you have to know that Donna was actually my assistant and helping me out with lots of other stuff. So he was basically, I would say, utilizing my resource for his own purpose. And I basically said, like, but what are you doing and why are you doing that? And he said, well, Nicola, I really hate filling in the CRM. I really hate spending any more minutes behind my laptop because it's so cumbersome. And what I really love is spending the time with people, making sure that I close these deals for you. That's what you want, right? So yeah, it was Dana
But
really that brought us to the idea.
yeah, and like Dana, but I think 99.9% of the people probably think you took it from Suits, right? Everyone knows and loves Donna.
For sure. So that was sort of the second piece when later on people say like, yeah, but you have Donna from Suits, and then we said, yeah, indeed, she's perfect. Like in the series, she's also put forward as the perfect assistant, saying always the perfect word at the perfectly right time. So that wasn't necessarily the purpose at the start, but indeed the resemblance of at least what she represents is quite canny.
Yeah, nice. And yeah, looking like the sales tech and all sales related software, it's a very competitive space in marketing and sales tech. How do you differentiate Donna from other solutions? Because I see many similar things pop up rapidly lately. How do you get along with that? Because yeah, I think yeah, you've been around for a couple of years already. Yeah, you were a first mover. How do you stay ahead of the curve?
Yeah. Well, at the very beginning of our inception, we were basically trying to say like, hey, how can we make a dent in the sales tech space? Just like you say, it's super competitive. But very quickly, we found out that a lot of think about the voice and the sound that basically lives around in the world. A lot of these voices are captured during online meetings. And so we started to think like, hey, how can we make a dent in the online note-taking space? But then we did that for a few weeks and we very quickly found out that that is a super convoluted space, having so many competitors already. And still today, you see them, the online note takers, coming as mushrooms from the ground. So we quickly pivoted and we said like, look, we're going to look at all the other voice and audio that's out there that's actually in the ether and that's not captured online. And that's typical in field sales. You're on the road, and typical in physical meetings. And that's when really we said like, this is this could be fun, because in the physical space there is not a lot of good, I would say, note capturing nor good follow-up. So if we can tie those two together, that's going to be perfect. And when we further drill down into sort of the problem at hand, we said like, yeah, but a lot of people are in the meetings, but they're not necessarily having the time nor facilities to put something on the table. Imagine you're in a store, you're at the counter or at a pharmacy, because one of the other industries that I mentioned before is also pharmacy, this pharmaceutical and medical devices. You're basically there, either in the operating room, at the pharmacy counter. You're not going to put something on the table like, hey, I'm going to record you now. That's just not what's
No,
happening.
it's not done. Yeah.
So what happens is that a lot of these conversations then have to be redone in the car. So then we started thinking like, is there a system that we could invent that you could speak to in the car? Coming back to the original idea when I was traveling with that gentleman in New York and saying like, hey, we want to transform
Yeah.
idle time into productive time. And that's when we really struck something that wasn't done before. Um, and what then makes sort of the final piece of how we differentiate is that if you link up a voice-to-voice conversation, like a really natural, a low latency conversation with someone, plus making sure that then you're connected to your CRM and your CRM is doing exactly the right thing, that is really unique. And I have to say we're super excited because of the fact that some people say, hey, but you're sort of a multi-agent swarm. So Donna can do a lot of different things and you're actually steering it with voice. Correct. We like to look at it from the business side and say like, hey, we're really solving a big problem with all the people on the road in their cars, and sometimes in traffic as well. And they can now really transform that time into productive time and differentiate ourselves from all other systems in the universe.
Yeah. Because you mentioned it, you solve an actual big problem, but also, yeah, launching something like Donna, it also comes with quite, how should I say it, quite a couple of big hurdles. You need to get in touch with like all the big CRMs, I assume, like HubSpot, Salesforce. How do you convince these guys, or how does that go? Because I've been following you guys. I saw you spent quite some time in the US over the past year, but how does that go? How does the first contact go, and how do you, develop that relationship towards an actual collaboration?
Yeah. That's a good question, and it's a mix of talking with clients. It's a mix of talking with implementation partners of these systems. So like really the CRM ecosystem, like the Salesforce ecosystem, and it's talking to them themselves as well, to Salesforce. I think it's, as I said, it's a mix, and indeed, I traveled to Dreamforce. We went to Inbound in Boston to visit both HubSpot and to visit Salesforce to really understand how they operate with partners, and how the actual ecosystem works. And then we for example talk to Deloitte, to PwC, that are really implementing Salesforce. Like how do they do that? How do they organize themselves? And the nice thing about the larger CRM systems is that they have an actually a very active ecosystem. So they have like partner managers. So we try to get in touch with them. The nice part of the story is that very quickly after our launch, we got contacted actually by Salesforce, and they offered us to go through the fast track program of being certified as a Salesforce app. That obviously is something that is required as well to be having a fruitful conversation with larger enterprises. But yeah, it's a bit hustling around, trying to understand the ecosystem, trying to know exactly who you need to talk to, like ordinary sales.
Cool. Yeah, and I assume that it also helps that you've been featured like yeah, in a lot of award shows, etc. I recently saw you guys were featured as one of Belgium's top 10 most promising startups for 2025. Does that also help in getting a lot of traction, or how does that go?
Yeah, it does. It does help for sure. It depends a little bit what award show or what sort of recognition. Sometimes at least it helps to support the message that you're bringing. I would say that by itself won't typically do the thing. I remember from Cashforce, we were involved in a lot of lists and award shows too. But sometimes if you get too focused on it, then it becomes a bit of a vain metric. for us, it has never been really the focus to participate in these award shows. Sometimes actually we neglected quite a lot of the I would say requests to participate, but people convince us like, hey, but it's could potentially help. It's really helpful. I think, Yannick, what really got us going was the video that we created, because that video got us basically to get people at least to get to know us. And then we try to spend minimal time on the actual competitions or the actual award shows. And we try just to be ourselves and say like, look, this is what we try to solve. And we're trying to invent a crazy technology from little Belgium, but with a universal and worldwide potential impact.
Yeah, and like another thing that really caught my attention is when I visited your website, I saw a video there, and it explained Donna really well. The video in the header I'm referring to, and it's really good, and it makes me really wonder like there must be something in the water in Ghent or something, but there must be one videographer that creates these videos for all the cool startups. It's pretty much, I think Henchmen were the first ones to pave the road there, but like it's really funny. Can you tell us a little bit, because I know I think also Joran and Gilles are part of your investor group.
Yes.
How does that go? All the Ghent startups have these really cool videos. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, it's so I guess we inspire each other for sure, because you can't look next to it. So you look to the videos and say, "Hey, that's funny, right? That's really well done." On the other hand, yeah, you have to focus. Every problem is a different problem, and every video is kind of different. So what happened with us was, first of all, we thought that bringing out a video would be very strong because we live in modern times. People's attention spans are very short, so you kind of have to convince with video. That was like, goal number one. But next is like, what type of video are you going to create? We said like, look, one that describes the problem very well and that catches the emotions of the emotion of the people watching it. And we also said like, hey, but the persons watching it, maybe if we would look at the video, we're not the actual salespeople on the road as our real persona is, right? Someone that really is on the road all the time, they have to recognize themselves. But the fun story is that so we got those 3 points right, but then we still have to write a script. So I remember a gathering. It was, I think, Father's Day last year. Gathering. It was quite hot that day, so we sat outside with a bit of ice cream and a coffee, and we started just to write the script. And when we were sort of brainstorming amongst ourselves, we said like, hey, but what if we make it like a real hyperbole? Like we stretch we emphasize so much the heavy emotion that comes with filling in the CRM at the end of the day. We stretch the emotion of sitting in your car with all the papers on your lap, and suddenly you know that you're on the right track because you know that this is gonna be funny because of the exaggeration that happens. I think what happened then is that week we uh, we added some like heroic voices. So we started actually playing with voice cloning. We started playing with voices in the office on loud speaker. From one simple voice, it became like a super heroic voice, and then just purely for fun, we were basically putting our script into the voice generation tool. It was 11 Labs. We basically put a maximum volume, and then we had this heroic voice filling in the room. And then we knew like, hey, if we combine the script with the heroic voice, we still didn't do the shooting yet, but then this would be really crazy. And we
It
it
worked.
happened. So, and then we got a talented lady from Ghent, so that we bumped into, literally bumped into. We didn't know she didn't make. We didn't look too much at the videos that she made before, but I think she did the final crazy touch. She was doing an editing work that was just out of this world, to be honest. And the reactions we got, obviously, as you said, to the video from literally California all the way into Australia, Indonesia. We got reactions from all over the world from that exact same video.
Because that also makes me wonder like there's been a lot of things said about organic traffic lately. Organic traffic, yeah, is dead. All the big social media platforms, they really limit your organic reach. They all want you to pay for reach. How does that go for you? Is it really, yeah, the fact that the video stands out that much that it makes it go, yeah, let's call it viral? Or what's your approach towards organic? Because also in the beginning, period like where you still are, to be honest, yeah, a lot of the marketing depends on the organic reach, I assume. So what's your secret there?
I think, Eric, you're hitting it on the nail in what you said. I personally don't believe in only organic or only paid. It's or I would say in one channel only. It has to be multi-channel, multi-purpose, and we see that. We see that. So maybe the people saw once the video, and they come on a call with us, and they're already convinced of because of the video. Sometimes we meet with a person that we talk to on LinkedIn, but we sent them up front of the call the video. So we have one asset, this video, and we have repurposed it for different and for different purposes as well. And that generated a lot of it's a bit of a circle, right? You influence the decision process by making sure that content is delivered several times during the buyer journey. But to come back on your point, so organic, yes, it's literally 100% organic what we do. But what also helped is that we try to verify a little bit, like, how does LinkedIn actually work, right? How can you create content that's short, smart enough, and then how do you position that content in such a way that's being picked up? And I guess when you, for example, would just put it online and do nothing else, then obviously you will only have a reach of your own inner circle in and around Ghent. However, what we did is we said, like, oh, look, we have a network in the US. We have a US investor, Everywhere Ventures. So let's, I would say, utilize their network and see how they can help us to, again, repurpose that same content. And we did the same with different investors on our side. That I would say at our side of the pond in the Netherlands, in Belgium. And then we asked them, like, hey, can you help us to again repurpose that content? So it's trying to really make that one piece of content work
Yeah, and different.
organically, but helped, I would say, assisted organically.
Yeah,
If you would
cool. Because
define
I can assume, or at least I think I know that outbound is also a big part of your channel mix. Actually, one of the companies I'm consulting for at the moment, you recently sent the CEO an outbound message, and yeah, like as you probably know, CEOs they receive a lot of outbound messages lately, but yours also stood out, and he was actually talking to me about, hey, I saw you're connected to these guys on LinkedIn. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? And yeah, I know you're actually having a deal set up internally there. So, and that comes like from just one cold outbound message. What's your approach there, and how do you strengthen that tactic? Is it also like sending the video and building further on it, or do you have other secrets? I hope you
yeah.
have other secrets there.
Well, I think the first thing to mention is that everything that we have done since our launch last year has been non-outbound, so it's purely inbound. So I think we lived from July towards end of November purely on inbound. That means that people found us, and then we, of course, if people sort of touched us, then we said, okay, here's what we have as content, here's our videos, here's what we do, here's our product, and here is how we can help you. And only then, in December, we started to think about, okay, we have to now combine this with outbound. Now, on that side, we obviously knew already, like, okay, if we position the video in this way, it's going to help. If we position it like that, people are not going to watch. But a little secret here is that also on the outbound side, you have to do things differently. So one thing that we really did differently is that Donna has a character. Donna has a voice, has a face, has a character, and we wanted to give it we give it actually a personality. And it means that we set up a sequence where we connect with people from our own network, where we said, like, look, we've been working on a new project. The project is Donna. And we also greet at the end with Donna, because it's almost like she's writing the message. And people are puzzled, like, why is Donna writing a message? And the combination then with that video, like, hey, greetings from Donna with that video, we see it working. We see lots of people clicking on it, lots of people watching the video. It's also a short video, making sure that people don't have to put a lot of attention into it. And it starts with a lot of, as you can see, a lot of sound, like it starts bombastically. That helps
Yeah,
also a lot. So people continue watching. So it's a combination of several elements. It speaks to people's minds. It's a personality. Trying to, I would say, and instead of saying best regards Nicolas, we say best regards Donna. It does help because people say, like, huh, who is that Donna? Or we say Nicolas and Donna. and they say like, huh, I'm now receiving a message from 2 people. Doesn't happen too often. What is
Yeah,
that? So we try to sparkle people's attention, like we're trying to touch people and say like, huh, what is that? That's what we try.
interesting. You could actually also make like a LinkedIn profile for Donna, and then people get like notifications of like Donna visited your profile, etc. It could be a lot of fun.
New ideas are getting born here.
Maybe to build a little bit further on that, like a lot of people within growth marketing, etc., they put it down to tools. Like for a lot of people, growth marketing equals tools. Since Donna is also a tool for teams to enable growth and sales in a more efficient way, are you guys also using other tools for yourself to make your leads come in more efficiently?
Yeah, of course. I think you're fully right to say that making sure outbound is actually done properly, coordinating your inbound. Today, that doesn't happen without tools, because otherwise you would have an army that is sitting ready to capture all of those inbound leads or to go after these outbounds. And before I get to the tools, one other element that I wanted to mention is that we had to use tools because of the vast input of all vast actually the vast amount of inbound leads actually we got, because obviously you're getting responses from all over the world, but our biggest problem was noise, was trying to say like, hey, but who from these people are actually having large field sales teams?
Yeah, everybody wants to see it, right? I can assume it's
Yeah, and it's a bit, I would say, even though you would have a lot of organic traffic, you would need to filter very intelligently, like who is actually. We had really a challenge with that at the start. People were coming from everywhere. I remember in the first few weeks, our colleague Sam, he had like 60 meetings all over his calendar. And then the real challenge is, how do we filter those meetings? So in order to come then to the sort of tools that we put in place, obviously we had a website where we combined HubSpot and Tally forms together to filter a little bit the inbound. The Tally form helped quite a bit in order to qualify people up front. Then, if you think about repurposing your message in your internal network or trying to find interesting people online, we use Survey quite a bit. Survey is a tool that basically allows you to tag people on LinkedIn and put them immediately into your CRM, which is quite helpful if you say like, hey, these are helpful profiles that I wanted to specifically.
I haven't heard of it by to be honest. So cool.
Yeah. So yeah, Survey. Leblist has a bit of a similar functionality, but Survey is actually quite neat and very simple. It's a little button.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think most people use and know Lemlist indeed, but yeah, we use it purely for outbound.
Yes.
And in the multi-channel sequences, yeah, LinkedIn sometimes is part of it, but yeah, Lemlist is mostly used on my side for email. But yeah,
Okay, okay.
interesting. I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah. Yeah. LinkedIn is it's very interesting that you mentioned that, Yannick, because for us, LinkedIn is actually the channel. It's one of the main channels to engage with people. And then Clay, I'm sure you heard of the.
Yeah, there's the previous episode of the podcast was like for 99% about Clay, and it's coming online today when we're recording this. So I know the ins and outs of Clay by now. But it's so excuse me, it's so powerful. It's crazy. I've been playing around with it for yeah like 6 7 months now. But yeah, the workflows keep coming. It's crazy that you can also use it like so far beyond outbound only. You can use it to yeah to create social media content, etc. It's crazy.
Indeed, indeed. We use it for, I would say, enriching the data that actually then goes into our outbound campaigns. But you're right, there are so many other purposes which you use it for.
Cool. Any other tools?
Yeah, Clay Survey, Lemlist are the most important ones. And I'm surely forgetting quite a bit, is quite a lot of others. So HubSpot is, of course, quite
Yeah, that's
crucial
the
for us.
centerpiece probably.
Yeah, it's the centerpiece of the operation. And yeah, also we've seen tools like SendSpark, so setting sort of personalized videos. We haven't tried it yet, which we still will do that. No, to be honest, as I said, like we only launched the Outbound itself for what is it, 2 months now. So we're at the beginning of the journey, and still I would say learn fast pace, but the results of what we have done on Outbound are also quite staggering.
Yeah.
It's that touch, I guess, within your sequence rather than the actual tools itself that make the difference.
Yeah, exactly. And I think also a lot of companies or founders, I think they have the misconception that with outbound, yeah, you should go straight to the conversion. But the message I saw you guys sending to the CEO I was referring to, yeah, it was like a workaround. You were asking for feedback or anything, and it that works so much better than trying to get that sales meeting from the first touch point. And it's common sense, but yet only a handful companies approach it that way, which is really crazy, to be honest.
True.
Um, and looking at marketing and growth as a function in your company, how do you approach that? Can you share us like an experiment, for example, or a growth initiative you took and that took Donna to the next level?
Yeah, it's a good question. I wouldn't say there's a generic playbook to launching and tech something in terms of growth or marketing initiative. There's no general playbook. If people would watch this episode, they would like think like how did this happen? And as I said, sometimes it's the elements coming together of saying like, huh, Donna has to have a personality. Like it's a little creative idea, a creative spark from someone in the team that then is actually further induced by, but she has to she has to have a voice that people say, yeah, but she has to actually listen. We need to do something with her eyes. We need to let her speak. It's the little ideas, the little creativity, and it's actually connecting this creativity to, I would say, the persona, because in the end you're solving a problem for a person, for a user, for a team, for a company. And if I would give advice, then it would be try to understand deeply who you're actually engaging with. Like try to understand. I know it's in all the books, I guess, around marketing, but
It's
it,
the
it's
one, the first page in all the books, but yet so many people forget
it's
it, right? It's so common that people, yeah, try to skip it.
correct. You're trying to assume that they have the same pain as you, the same struggles as you, but it's rather seldom that that actually happens. In a lot of cases, they have a different age. They have a different, I would say, background. They have been working at different companies. They're eating different things. They're basically living a literally a different life than you. But as long as you don't understand their life, then it's going to be very hard to then target a message through a channel that actually will get them on their feet. Because as you say, today everyone is spreading out these messages and it's almost hard to filter for people. So you have to stand out. And I guess the only way to stand out is to really deeply understand, like we try to do with field sales, what pains, struggles that they feel. I guess that would be the one thing that I would say.
And you extract that from the sales meetings, or do you do like yeah, validation boards or anything like that? How do you do it?
Yeah, so well, when we started with the idea of Donna, and as I said, we were first in the online note-taking space, and what happened at the time was we had two conversations. One of them with one of our current clients, Liantis, and we pitched them actually a couple of ideas, and they said like, "Hey, but Nicholas, I think we had sort of this idea about the next best thing for your sales lead." So we said like, "Hey, you have a lead, this is the next best step that you should take." And I said, like, yeah, Nicola, Jonas, we were the two of us at the meeting, both the co-CEOs of the business. And they said, like, hey, but you're on the wrong track because we don't have any data in our CRM. We started looking at that person and yeah, but the field sales reps, they have limited time and CRM adoption isn't necessarily their first, I would say, their first target or their first, it's not
Yeah,
what.
they need to sell. That's basically it. And how they sell it doesn't matter for the companies, but they need to sell.
Exactly. It's not the first thing that they are thinking of. Suddenly, we said, like, now we need to know more. And we started to delve really deep, as you said, Yannick, really into that. Well, I would say it's not a sales conversation, but it's a half a sales conversation, half a validation conversation. And that person that we talked to at Liantis, yeah, she was super helpful because she ultimately said, like, hey, but this is what's happening. This is what you see. Let me tell about my experience, my team experience. And we had a several conversations of these because then you're sort of on one track. And I have to say, my advice would be there, do this a couple of times, similar industry, other people, other buyers. And then you fine tune all the time your idea. And then we in I think in less than a month and a half, we pivoted completely from the original idea to that idea because we suddenly understood we suddenly found a pain point, and we deeply understood it by talking to the actual people involved.
And these are your ideal pilot customers, I can assume.
Yeah. We then also said, like, in order to target field sales, we'll have to get quite a bit of field sales testing first our solution. And testing means that it comes always with a risk at both sides. We call them white glove customers, and we would treat them very well in exchange for lots of information, lots of feedback. And I think that was really the right thing to do, because if you like this product, if you put it into the world and you let people just test it as if it would have been normal customers, then you wouldn't have all the feedback that we required to fine tune it. So that really helped us to going
Yeah,
from validation to actual product validation with those clients.
I think it's such an undervalued or underused funnel that you ask for feedback and that you bring in people, you ask feedback, you basically build the first prototype towards their needs, and these type of companies or customers, they become your pilot companies. I see so only few companies do it, but yeah, it's such a no-brainer to approach it that way, in my opinion. We once did it with like an online supermarket app, Local. It was a consumer-focused thing, but also there, yeah, we had like a landing page. We captured people. We had them fill in like an entire survey, and we would send them updates about the product. And once you launch the thing, yeah, you have an entire list who's literally waiting to buy from you, and yeah, it's so underused. I don't understand it because also there are a lot of books who refer to it, who write about it, but yeah, still a lot of
Yeah,
people forget it.
it's the never assume, always ask.
Yeah, exactly. But still,
Yeah, and even today, you can't understand enough your customer. You just have to talk to them and deeply, deeply understand what they think, what they want, what they feel.
yeah. Cool. Something I wanted to touch upon again is that you said like we wanted to give Donna a personality. Like a really nice story I had there is like from Yuri and Dries, the founders of the Wasbar. I don't know if you know them, but yeah, a couple of years ago they did like another startup called Chez Claire, and it was like they were selling these fancy eclairs. I don't know if you know that company, but I think they sold it a couple of years ago. But they were also telling like it was called Chez Claire, but the personality of the brand was Claire. And whenever they had to pick the toppings for the yeah for eclairs, or they had to decorate the retail spaces, etc., they were always wondering like how would Claire approach this. So Claire became like yeah the guiding person towards it was a fictive person, but it came their guiding direction for like yeah taking all kinds of growth and marketing decisions,
That's
which is like super nice way to approach things.
yeah. Yeah, I think if you sort of can make a perfect mix of the brand, and embed that basically in your customer experience, but also in your own company's experience or employee experience, let's say that's the perfect mix, because then everyone talks about Donna, and you get a perfect mix. I don't think you can do it with every business though, because every business is different. But with ours, I guess we immediately saw that we had to put it, or we had to push it to the extreme, and that we could do that.
Yeah, exactly. It is like because that's also one of my questions, by the way. Do you like to be perceived as an AI agent, or with everything going on, AI agents are like already the buzzword of 2025, I think. It can be a good thing to jump on that train, but can also have like a negative connotation. What's your take on that? Curious to hear it.
Yeah, it's, I think, a very good question, in the sense that it's a question that comes on the table within our team, I would say, since the last 6 months. Curiously, we have never ever called I would say, our Donna an AI agent since the start to our customers. Our customers, corporate companies within, as we said, FMCG, in real estate, manufacturing, they're really still looking for lots of solutions that help their problems, not necessarily AI solutions. Of course, the majority will now be called AI solutions. So we actually left on purpose the word AI out of it, out of the equation. We simply said, hopefully, with what Donna provides, we can help solve your problem. And that actually resonated quite a bit, Because I think 6 months back, 1 year back, lots of people were thinking like, AI, is it really worth the investment? Is it going to be right? Oh no, it's not going to be right all the time. How do we deal with that? There is a bit of insecurity, a bit of risk involved. So we said, let's refrain, sorry, from the word AI. Now, obviously, people get more comfortable with adopting AI. So obviously, this has to change as well. So over time, we do believe that, say, an AI assistant, let's say, is going to be a bit more used as our language. But still, we believe that what is Donna? It's basically someone sitting on the shoulder or next to you that helps you simplify sales admin from the car. That's the key. So I guess in, like we discussed in marketing, let's the persona, what is he or she thinking? The message should be simple, like we are solving your problem. And then how are we doing that? Well, yes, we do have a voice-enabled AI agent. An AI agent that happens to be actually an agent swarm, because we can actually do a lot of different tasks with Donna. But then you get more technical. And we know that, let's say, field sales, if you get technical to them, they also stop listening, and it's their right. They're on the road. They're doing good business. They don't want to know too much. Like, hey, is this an AI voice agent? So I guess it's the audience, Yannick, that we try to find a good match with. And if we would send an outbound message, and I'm pretty sure of this, AI voice agent or uh, an assistant which you can call to in the car that will transform your idle time too, that the second will actually get a lot more
Yeah.
than the
Yeah,
first.
the AI connotation, I think it also makes you a little bit get lost in the masses these days. And also, I think that the AI, calling it AI or naming it AI, I think it's really, it's something a lot of non-AI native companies seem to do. But once you are an AI native company, AI is becoming the day-to-day. It's becoming the present, the mainstream. So there's no reason to actually call it an AI. People will notice, and it's more the how indeed. And I like the fact that you really focus it on your end user, and that you want to change the behavior there, and solve a problem. Yeah, really, really nice.
Maybe one thing I can add, Yannick, is that sometimes we say in our messaging, like, imagine you can call someone from the car, because someone, again, could be a human
Yeah.
person. So imagine you can call someone from the car that's always there, and that's going to give the perfect answers. And then people humanize that fact. And that actually speaks to people a lot more than if you would say AI, because that would scare some people at least.
Yeah.
Certainly, field sales reps would be scared more by the AI instead of, can I actually call someone? Fun stories, by the way, Yannick, what actually people are the talk tracks of what, if we look at, let's say, sometimes we ask like, hey, what are you telling Donna? It's super fun.
Yeah. Uh, People have actual conversations. I can assume I do it myself with ChatGPT as well. In the
Yeah.
car, whenever you need to ask something and you're driving, yeah, you can easily talk to it. Yeah, it's amazing. It's talking to an actual person. Also, the delays are really they are super limited. And I'm talking about ChatGPT. Probably with Donna, it's a bit more advanced, or quite a lot more advanced. But it's super nice, and I think the behavior of people, yeah, is going way more towards that, and we will adapt. So that's something I definitely see happening. It's already happening. No, it's not gonna happen. It's already happening. Okay, cool. I have a couple of final questions for you, Nicolas. I always call it the Quickfire. So it's like a couple of short questions you can ask. It's a really short, and I suggest we just go through it. The first one is, what's your big bet for 2025? I assume it's not AI agents.
No, it's the fact that I would say enterprises around the world are going to disrupt, are continuously seeking to disrupt themselves and stay competitive. And all of them have AI programs. They have also potentially the fear of missing out on the next AI experiments. So they're really going to adopt like very fast these I would say agents and AI agents. So for us, it's about creating tangible ROIs and scalable solution for these companies.
Yeah, and staying ahead of these big corporations, I assume.
It's trying to play really together with them because we can help them.
Then the second one is, what's your favorite marketing book?
Well, to be honest, not really reading lots of marketing books myself, rather some sales books. It's an old one, Lead, Sell, or Get Out of the Way, The Seven Traits of Great Sellers. I would say marketing wise, I get a bit of sales wise as well. I get a bit of input and feedback from Jason Lemkin, the CEO of SaaStr. I listen frequently to his podcast and I read his content. Uh, I think it's no nonsense and really good.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Then what's your favorite marketing tool or software? And you can't say Donna.
I would say actually today it's Clay.
And then the last one, and then yeah, we're at the end already. What advice would you give growth and marketing professionals that are aiming to make an impact in tech companies?
Start from your end user and try to understand the end user deeply.
It's a nice one. You stole that from Jeff Bezos. I recognized it, but it's really a nice one. And again, so many people don't do it. Huh?
Yeah, it's something I guess, that came from just bouncing ourselves against walls or hitting ourselves walls when we didn't do it, because then you're losing time.
I get it. Yeah, and time is everything in the startup world.
Yes.
Okay, Nicolas, thank you so much for being part of this episode and the Growth Secret podcast. So thanks a lot, and I wish you all the best this year and in the further future with Donna. I'll keep following it, and yeah, as said, I'll see you guys showing up at one of my customers sooner or later. Cool. Okay. Thanks so much, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the week. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
cool. Glad I could contribute. See you soon.